Hey there, I'm just going to do a short video clip with you today, sort of outlining a few things about Desmos Graphing Calculator. So you can see instead of a slideshow, I've got the book up here. So I'm taking a look at problem 635 just because what I'm going to do is use this data here to show you a couple of things on Desmos. So this particular problem is really about the cost of a hamburger based on the amount of meat that's in the hamburger. All right, so what I did is I took that information and just put it in a Google spreadsheet right here. And then what I want to show you is how you can actually just take this information. So what you can do is just copy it. I'm just dragging the mouse over it, and then I'm hitting Control C. Oops, that didn't work right. Let me try that again. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get it this time. All right, you hit Control C once it's all shaded in. Now I've got it. And then you just go to your Desmos Graphing Calculator. Now I'm hitting Control V, and it just automatically goes right into Desmos. So I like that feature a lot. Anyway, the other thing I want to show you, because this comes up in the next problem we'll be doing, is you can kind of change the points just a little bit. I'm just holding my mouse down over the green little circle beside the Y. You can make the points look different. All right, so basically those are clear. You can make them into little X's. I'm going to go back here. You can change the color if you'd like. All right, so I don't know, I like purple. We'll just do purple. And then if you turn the lines on, oops, hang on. If you turn the lines on, it actually connects them. So if for some reason you're doing a graph that you need to see connected, you can do that. And then if you turn the drag on, this is kind of cool because what you can do is then move the points around. If you just hit this horizontal line, then the points will only move back and forth. If you hit the up and down, the vertical line, they'll move up and down, but it won't change the X value. I'm going to click it on this one so then I can move the points around any way I want. All right, so then watch what happens to the table when I move a point around. So you can see like in the table, the values change as you move the point. Let's say though I didn't like that. There's a couple of things you can do. You can hit this back arrow. It will undo what you did and put the point back to its original. This little magnifying glass down here, if you hit that, it moves the graph around to what's more ideal for the point. So there's that thing as well. The other thing you can do, let's say you move a point around, like let's say I move this one around, you can just hit Control Z, just like you do on a Word document, and that will also put it back to its original. All right, so I just wanted to share that feature with you quickly. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this off now. Yep, I don't care that that's not saved. It's my screen recorder. All right, so back to this. I'm just going to show you problem 634, and all I want you to do is notice some of the things that happen. So they have some data graphed here, and you can see it's at the movable point thing. So they did that on purpose. I've already read all of this here, so I'm just going to kind of take you through this myself. So this is one of the tools that CPM put together for us. So the first thing that they want you to do, and by the way, if you want to do this yourself, go ahead and open up your book and do it yourself. You don't have to, though. They put a line in here, and then it says line of best fit. Click the circle at the left to show hide. You can drag the dots to position the line. So let's say I don't think that's the line of best fit. That's the other thing you can do is if you connect 2 points with a line on Desmos and they're movable points, you can actually move the entire line. All right, so let's say I think this maybe, I don't know, let's say I decide that's closer to the line of best fit. I figure I've got about the same number above and below. All right, as we talked about yesterday, I could be way off, just don't know. All right, so then the next thing that they have you do is click for the residuals. All right, so this is a good reminder of residuals. And I'm going to have you actually watch a video today after this on residual plots. So you can see the residuals are, it's just the difference between the actual and the expected. So it's the actual minus the expected. So any of these lines that are above, those are positive residuals, right? All right, now the next thing is squares. All right, you can see with each residual, they've made it into a square. This is how, basically, in sort of a simplified fashion, this is how the least squares residual, the least squares regression lines are determined by the size of these squares. All right, so now here's the least squares regression line. Okay, you can see how far off I am. So here's what I want you to notice. I want you to watch three things. I want you to notice what happens to the sum of the squares and the sum of the residuals, and then the size of these squares as I'm changing it. If you can't see this really well and you want to look at this a little bit better, go ahead and take a look at it on your own laptops. Okay, but watch what happens to the squares. That's the easiest thing to see. You can see that the size of the squares is getting smaller as I get closer to the actual least squares regression line, right? And if you didn't notice over here, the sum of the squares gets lower as I get closer to the actual best regression line, and the sum of the residuals gets lower as well, right? As I'm moving back away, I can see, oh yeah, that gets higher, that gets lower. So once I'm on the exact line, and I guess that's pretty close, that would be the smallest that the squares would get. All right, that's all I wanted to show you. That's really all they wanted you to look at in 634. And what I'd like to do is go to Google Classroom for the rest of today's assignments. All right, thank you, and have a good weekend.